This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Tara Sutphin is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives, Soul Agreements, and The Abenda Chronicles. Grammy-nominated audios, videos, and MP3 series. You can find these MP3 series now at TaraInsight.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. And I have two guests today, Jason D. McKean, voice of over 1 million recordings sold throughout the world of Om Recording. And Jackie Jordan, who is an amazing producer, just one of the greatest producers that I know. And she has been producing 10,000 plus television guests. So she is an exciting talent in branding, promotion, and marketing and development. So, hey, everybody, I love Jackie and I love Jason, and thank you for being both of you on the show today.
Thank you.
It's about,
Thank you, Tara.
We're going to talk about getting what we want, you know, and honing your psychic skills to get what you want.
Love that. Love that. Well, I want to show you the headline for this morning today.
Okay.
It's actually the New York Post headline. You can read, it's probably backwards, but it says, "Do as they say, not as they do." And it's got the California governor, the New York governor. And the reason I brought it up for this topic, why I thought this was a really good topic, is because they're telling us what we can't have, what we want, right? In very, very, very large, significant ways, even though they're doing what they want to do. And so I'm just using that as a point of contrast, not as a point of politics, but a point of contrast. So here we've got an externalized force saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's certainly not what they're living by either. So it is a really good example, especially for the work that both of you do with working and coaching others through hypnotherapy and your intuition on how people externalize limitations. And so, and especially fear, and how getting what you want really is really the power is an internal process. Am I correct on that?
Yes, it is.
I would say yes, and I mean, there's degrees, right, of the internal and external, and hopefully we can get into all of that. But yeah, absolutely, it's like the external is formidable. It's easier to think something sometimes than to actually do it.
And that's why so much for me, and people that I work with, for me has been about creating right alignment, right action, right alignment. And I love the acronym for God, depending on what your higher power is or your divinity is, but it's like good, orderly direction. So, and so that's why right action and right alignment are so important, as you were just saying, Jason, because yes, there's, you can't walk through a front door. You actually have to open a front door. So externalized factors, definitely have limitations in the physicalization of our third dimensional experience. Yet there are, processes that we can apply to making things accessible and, into right action, into right alignment, and into good orderly direction to move towards what we want.
Yeah, the internal is giving yourself permission to walk through a door.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. First would be the first step. So I got a text message yesterday from a dear friend, really remarkably smart, and love to hear your feedback from both of you on this. But she's one of the people who definitely have been taking the externalized direction quite serious over the last 6 or 7 months, and has very limited her life in that, even though she's a PhD, a very powerful person, and asked me how I was handling the lockdowns. And my response was, was gentle. I'm not looking to create polarization or arguments about any of this, but my response was, the coronavirus is not my higher power. I can, I live amongst it, but it does not define me. And that is how I express what is for me an externalized experience, but it is not my guiding influence. It does not, I have to work around it. It's happening. I'm not immune to everything that's going on around it. However, it does not define me. It does not define my choices. It does not define my habits. Are you getting those type? And
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I feel like if anything we get out of 2020 specifically is this if we can't get past like fear 101 as a group, like we talk about the biggest limitation that we could be living by is, fear 101 is really what's happening this year, with all of these externalized factors, limitations. But, and when we talk about good orderly direction, I talk to people and they're all, freaked out and they're catastrophizing life and life outcomes. I always go back to, so what is your next right action? What is the next right action? And if I can't get them even there, I'm like, okay, then we go back to the breath, because that's like the next right action. Sometimes it literally has to be pulled back right to the moment of, we're breathing, we're inhaling, we're exhaling. That needs to be the right action. But the fear in terms of this topic of the show today, Transformation with Tara, about getting what you want, it's like you can't get what you want if you are paralyzed with the fear, and especially when somebody else contaminates you with fear. That's what I feel like we're looking at when we see all of this and the headlines and the scary stuff, is we're being contaminated with fear. It's like, okay, I see it, I understand it, I'll take care of what I need to take care of, and then how do we realign with next right action and move beyond being imprisoned by fear? What do you guys think?
Yeah. No, I'm on board with that, because, that's my motto anyway, is clearing the way. We've always thought that there was some kind of block or some kind of, something we're having to step around to get what we want anyway. So the bottom line is that you have to just keep on going. I use psychic ability, and I believe that we are powerful beings when we allow ourselves to be, and we visualize, through meditation, and if you can do self-hypnosis, it's great. But, the visualizations, they really help, like, bump you along. Yeah. And, you don't have, and if you really can't get there, I do hypnothesia. With an anesthesiologist, I'll get you there. If you're really fighting something, I'm going to get you there. So the thing is that, I really think it's, that our limitations can be so vast within our minds, and if we allow ourselves to be afraid, but, you just have to keep on going, because, the unknown is, we don't know about the future, but we know that we can live a beautiful life. And so we have to keep really stepping into that.
Yeah. And creating that, even if it's, even if we feel powerless over larger context, we still have power. We still have power. One of the things we're talking about psychic ability, and I'm not catastrophizing, but in the Matrix game that we're currently playing in 2020, getting ready for the big 2021 reset, as they're calling it. One of the downloads I got where they're going to where the amp up is going to be, and it was templated. As a TV producer, I'm like very acutely aware about media narratives. And I'm acutely aware of how media narratives get weaponized to create fear, to create control matrices, to keep people paralyzed from living in their creative ability, and with fear, by using fear as a tool. So the one that got templated this year in 2020, which I think we're going to see in 2021 a little bit more of, and we're going to have to rise above it, was when we went through the toilet paper shortage. And that, and I always say we in media narratives that come out, that are storylines that are created to keep us in a field of limitation. We have to see beyond that, which is what the two of you do for your clients. We have to see beyond that so that we're not paralyzed or limited getting what you want from those control matrix, which is our storylines. But they often do what I call collective consent. They get our collective permission to move forward with it. So with the toilet paper supply was really a template for supply chain issues. And so what is going to come up, and we're going to see it start to build up into over Christmas, is we're going to start to see supply chain breakdowns. And the way it's being built up right now is we are already getting media notice on the news that the UPS is no longer going to guarantee deliveries. And we have come as a system to really depend upon, especially if you're an Amazon Prime member, like even overnight delivery issues, delivery. And on some level, I've always thought that that kind of way of living is not sustainable. I thought, my goodness, if I order a hair dryer and get it the next day at my door, I'm like, is that really a sustainable way of existing?
Wow, that's instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly. So on some level, it does need to be disrupted. However, what I think we're going to experience, and I say this out loud because in terms of good orderly direction, next right action, getting what you want, we are going to start to see a little bit more supply chain breakdown, I believe. And I think that's going to be used a little bit more to scare us. We got to see what the fear of not having toilet paper looked like last year. And so the way I'm saying that is that we're going to have to be a little bit more self-sufficient and a little bit more self-sourcing, especially locally within our communities, within our local levels, because the play in the game of the Matrix to keep us in a little bit more fear and control is to pull back our reliance on things that we've come to depend upon so easily and effortlessly. And so, so I can already start to see the media narrative build up of that type of story. So it started with the toilet paper last year, which is, talk about taking something for granted, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Like nobody ever went to the bathroom and ever worried about not having toilet paper, ever. I mean, I never even thought about it. And then you all this realize all of a sudden it becomes a valuable resource. Well, we're going to be hit with a couple more of those. And I don't say that out of fear. I just say that out of discernment and self-responsibility, self-accountability, and not getting caught up in these storylines. And I'm not saying this to hoard, but I'm just saying this to be aware, because now we're getting these notices that UPS is no longer going to guarantee when they deliver something. So that will change our reliance on supply chains, which even, going down to pet food, how easy is Chewy.com? Chewy.com.
Right.
So,
but I don't depend on any of that.
And that gives you so much freedom.
Yeah, I don't depend on deliveries.
Brilliant.
I'm probably a rebellious person in this way. Brilliant. Well, that's why I'm not into any sort of fad anything. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
It keeps you out of the control matrix. And that's why I kind of say that out loud, is that if you're dependent upon those type of systems, I think we're going to be for a rude awakening upcoming, because that's the next place where the threat and the tease is.
Yeah,
it's easy to shift into those areas because it's easy, right? It's like if you go online and you order something and it's like you expect it to be delivered like next day or so. I mean, it's an easy rhythm to get into.
Yeah, and it's a false sense of security.
Yeah.
It's probably because being raised in Alaska, your package, if you ordered something, it came in 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew when so and you couldn't get anything really up there either, so yeah, I think that's maybe the training there.
Well, that's what I said about in the TED talk I did about Generation X. We are not the instant gratification generation, because we did have to wait for our records, our CDs to come in 2-3 weeks. So we definitely have, our generation has definitely been trained patience and self-reliance that way. And especially if your geographics promoted that, I think it will be potentially a rude awakening for urban young people who are used to just, clicking buttons on their cell phone and getting it overnight. I think they're going to be in for, which, bringing it back to the topic about getting what we want, there is a big difference between the instant gratification of hitting the cell phone, getting what we want, and, manifesting and creating and getting around the limitations, especially again, when it is an externalized control in the process. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I in regards to this topic, I think that when one is okay with both, and especially spiritual people, right? Like being okay with the internal self and the external self, spiritual minded people can, tend to focus inward, right? They can tend to, say that that's the most important realm. And yet, how it is that we express our spiritual nature out into the world. I think that's why we're in a physical form. I think that's why we're in our human bodies, is to be both a physical being and a spiritual being. And so, aligning those two parts of ourself, of your spiritual self, who it is that you think that you are. Who do you think you are? Right? No, who do you aspire to be?
Yeah.
What did you say, Tara?
Who do you want to be?
Right? Yeah. What are your spiritual aspirations? Are your goals, are they to, are they within reach? And again, with that idea about it, it's about kind of wrapping our head around it to see if we're able to express ourselves fully in the world. And yes, it is a tricky time, because it's like just wanting to congregate, wanting to be with others and all that's just it's not impossible, but it is a trickier proposition just at this year. Will it clear up down the road? Absolutely. But I've always felt that this time is one where we can set that stage within us. We can miss people, right? We can say, you know what, I really do love people. I love being around people, and start to use that as building the next stage of how you're going to express it when the world opens up again. And so that this time is not wasted just watching Hallmark Christmas movies.
Wouldn't it be criminal self-criminal if we just wasted this time?
Oh my God.
It would be terrible. It would be terrible. And what I like what you say, Jason, and I like what you promote so much, Tara, is that spiritual self to me is like the creative self. And I actualize it through producing and publishing and doing creative projects with people professionally. But it is the relationship of the creator self and actualizing it in the material world, which is the gift of being alive. And so I've seen, so many people this year thwart that opportunity hiding in fear. Hiding in fear. I mean, but I think a lot of people have alchemized the possibility that this strange year has laid upon us. But I also think there's a lot of people who've shrunken, and as you said, watching Hallmark Channel movies through the year. I literally know people who have watched,
Well, what did they say? What's the funny thing is, they just got done with Netflix. What else is?
Yeah. What's next?
I was like, oh no.
I've watched every TV series ever made. It's like binge watched everything. What's next?
Yeah, I've just been so busy. I mean,
that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
So busy I can barely. Yeah.
And that's a good people. And some people have been shocked by that. Tara,
Well, me.
Shocked. You're like, how could you be busy? How could you be busy?
Yeah. So busy.
Be busy. Because the COVID isn't my higher power. The lockdown is not my higher power.
No, and that's my job anyway, to get people out of their blocks. So, it's really all of our jobs to get everybody to the next stage of what they would like to do with their life.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line is that, yeah.
Are people, are you hearing, is the stuckness that you're hearing placed this year on the COVID and the lockdowns and the elections, or are people able to differentiate that from like their own internal stuck? Because I mean, I've had times in my life where I know I Jackie am stuck and I just can't see my own way out of my own way.
Well, I think they're planning. Like, I mean, I have clients, across the board. They range from everywhere and every place in the world and everywhere in the financial scheme of things and what, and so I get people who are, like, what exactly is it going to look like upcoming as far as the, for them, as far as how should they move their business, how they maybe, how hone their skills, really be in a peaceful state so they can get to their next level. How are they going to change their business with the world changes? As the world changes, they just, they're easily just moving it into some other, like they're getting ready for it to reinvent themselves very easily. And so it's about the reinvention. A lot, and health stuff, just getting as healthy as they can so that they can, create, be ready for whatever they need as far as in this reinvention process.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great.
It must be so self-satisfying to see when people can move beyond their blocks and get what they want out of life.
Fulfilling. I feel that I have a very fulfilled, career.
Yeah.
I mean, and it feels good. It always makes my heart feel good. That, even if people are getting over their love life blocks, their, now, it used to be pretty fickle as far as even the relationships. This has put a newfound sensibility in people that, well, it would be really nice for a mate. So you're not lonely, that you have somebody to help you, that you have, you're looking forward with somebody instead of being the serial dater or the, or somebody who, because you're not meeting people very easily now. Somebody was saying something to me about, well, why would I want to meet somebody on the internet? Well, that's the only place you're going to meet them. There's nothing open, especially
in most places. Yeah, I'm going to meet somebody most places without a mask. Yeah, it's going to be the internet.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to need to see your face actually without like the whole covering.
Right. In your hazmat suit. Don't touch me and you'll never be able to kiss me. Oh yeah, that's lovely.
Stay 6 feet away. And Jason, Did I see that you're helping people get what they want in Japan?
Yes.
And because of the internet, right? Because of the ability to, just sit in the comfort of your own home, but you broadcast, right? It's like we're all broadcasters now. We all have that ability. That it was only like when I was growing up, is 4 channels, that were broadcasting channels, that were ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. That was it. Generation X. Me, right? Where there's that limitation, but now it's like we all have that ability. And when we know who it is that we are at our core, it's like I do define myself as a tarot wizard, not a corona virus wizard,
Right.
It's
right.
Not,
that is certainly not your limitation.
It's something, that one, doesn't change because of what's external. But yes, being able to have opportunities that present themselves, I am, as part of getting what I want, I will do a meditation in the evening. It's usually over a candle, and it's not, $1,000, spiritual candle that I buy and all that. It's usually just a tea light. Because I can get like 1 million of them over at IKEA for, $10.
That bag is fantastic. I could live off of a tea light bag from IKEA for a couple of years.
And it's about being able to focus one's energy and to be in a place of gratitude, no matter what the situations are that are coming around us. And there's it's a mixed bag. There's joyous occasions. There's ones that are not so great, and yet to still be in a place of gratitude and to express that, and to welcome opportunity in the forms that may not be exact as far as like what you're thinking, and yet everyone here knows, right? It's like one thing can lead to another, can lead to another, can lead to another. It's like you don't just zip up the ladder by taking that one step from the ground all the way to the 10th rung, right? It's like you just go one step at a time, and the value in that is that you just you know where it is that you've been, the process, if you go back a step, it's not the end of the world. You just like keep ascending. And with Japan, it's like I have, my wife is Japanese, and so I've been to Japan. I've been immersed in the culture. My language skills are awful. For being married for 20 years, because I haven't had to use them, my language skills, but the appreciation is definitely there. And when the opportunity came to read for the Japanese community through a translator, through an interpreter, then I said yes. And it's like you figure it out as you go. If you say, oh, I've never done that before, I don't think I can do it, then guess what? It's like you're probably not going to be able to do it, because you're already you've set the limit on yourself. You've already applied the brakes, and so much for forward momentum.
Right. And it's not going to be easy necessarily, but it will be an experience, and you learn from experience. So.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of just doing something just do it in short intervals, instead of like taking on like the huge project where you have to like figure out all the moving parts to it. It's just like do something small that you learn what it is that you need to know, and then expand upon that knowledge. And so, we did some practice sessions, to get into a flow, because it's all about a flow of information. And it's like when you're in that intuitive realm, when you're channeling something, if you like just like deliver this beautiful message, and then someone says, oh, can you repeat that? It's like, repeat what?
Right.
I have no idea what I just said,
Right.
So
the source just came through.
That's right. You're just this conduit. And so retaining information is not necessarily all of what it happens. So being able to just get into a nice, easy flow of information, where it's in those bits and pieces that can come outside of you, and it's incredibly gratifying. And again, like I can see where other countries with the right interpreter, that's it's no longer a thing that is just a stopping point, or where one can say, oh, I can't do that. It's like, I've done it over here. Maybe, this can happen here. So one just stays open to the opportunities. And what I was saying about the evening sessions there with gratitude, it's also welcoming new opportunity, and just signaling the universe that one is ready, and what do you have for me? And then next day I'll receive texts from colleagues who have like opportunities that are like opening up, or, you know, if they ask me to be a guest on a podcast or just whatever like opens up, it's like, okay, yes, absolutely, let's do this. And to keep moving, not just forward, but where you ascend also. So it looks like it's kind of like this graph, you know, where you're going up. But it doesn't have to be like you're in an elevator, and it can be the gradual incline. I have to do that.
It's
like
spiral experience, not linear experience. People expect everything to have, you know, beginning, middle, end effect, linear, and whereas life is so much more spiral. And, you know, even I don't even, you know, if there are no setbacks, you're just kind of spiraling up. So sometimes it looks like you're going over old territory again, but you're already going over old territory from a new perspective anyway. So it's more of a spiral time experience, not a linear experience, which is what makes us multidimensional beings if we grasp it that way. And I love what you're doing and love what you're reflecting. And I see so much of that just, you know, through the work we do at TV Guestport, just because we do so many professional projects with that. And we aggregate opportunity for our clients. And so usually we're walking our clients into, if we're doing our job well, we're walking our clients into an experience that they've never had before. So it always has to have exactly what you're saying, Jason. You have to have the willingness to try it. It may not be exactly what you thought it might look like in your head, but it doesn't mean it's a setback or a failure. It's now a new level of a new experience, which is why I really appreciated how you shared that about doing that.
There's like two schools of thought, you know, that are, you know, they're probably equally as powerful, but it's about, you know, how one sets the stage, how they visualize what it is that they look like they're trying to get for themselves, you know, and you know, one is to be very specific, right? To imagine every single detail of what it is that you want. And the other, you know, the one that I gravitate more towards is looking at qualities rather than the appearance of something, like the energy behind something. Like an example would be a relationship, you know, rather than saying, well, it's got to be, you know, a person,
dark hair,
from, you know, this particular, you know, race, their color of their hair, exactly. Whereas it's like those qualities, like number one, it's availability. Availability.
Values.
You know, kindness, someone who sees you, someone who
emotional availability as well as physical.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and that may, you know, come in a form where it's like, you may not expect it, you know, it's like, and again, with work opportunities, same thing, you know, where it's about those projects and all that take you from here to here, you know, the ones that help you grow, the ones that help you sustain yourself. You know, they may not be like the $1 billion ideas that just like, you know, take you into that next stratosphere. They might be, right? But where we don't get too locked in. I see that like in the 10 of Swords, you know, in the Tarot.
Yes.
As a mindset where it's like, no, it has to be exactly like this. And I'm not going to be happy until it's like this exactly. But energy like that can keep us stuck. It can keep us from actually getting what it is that we want.
Yeah. So when we start to and then we become a mental looper. You kind of mentally loop on it. I really like what you said, Jason, and how you promote this Tara. But what I heard in you is you're not. To me, it's so limiting to manifest or desire an experience just based on what it looks like, and that could be professional or relational or personal. And I think that takes on some level of involvement. But to manifest based on what it feels like, or because the values align, you know, when you're creating a project, to do a collaboration based on value alignment as opposed to bottom line dollar alignment only. I mean, or in relationship, as I heard you say, values as opposed to just form. And I think that, when you've manifested only from form or what it looks like, for me, it's like, it ends up that becomes really limited. Like, to me, that's in terms of what I want, it becomes extraordinarily limited. And I have to deal with this with my clients, because I wrote about it in my book, Heartfelt Marketing, Allowing the Universe to Be Your Business Partner, because what we deal with in managing the expectations of our clients is that we have to, we present an opportunity. Our clients will always express to us right up front. We do a whole vision thing, like, what is it that you want to achieve with us in the year? What opportunities? And then we'll bring in opportunities, and sometimes they're left of center of what they want, right of center of they want, maybe beneath what they want. But to me, what it says to the universe is, yes, I am open. Yes, I'm available. Yes, let's keep the momentum of opportunity going. That's what it does for me. But sometimes I have to work with a client who's like, this porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. This porridge isn't right. And when they start to get that picky and it becomes a no and a no and a no, I am telling you, the opportunity flow just collapses from underneath of all of us. But when they're willing to try it, there's always feedback that comes from any opportunity. There's always feedback from any opportunity that anybody's willing to walk through, and then you can build upon the information that experience provides to you, and then up level your game, and then meet the next opportunity. Here's just a great example. When we're onboarding, people will think because we've booked on the Oprah show that I can pick up the phone and call Oprah and put that person on. And on some level, I don't blame them for thinking it goes like that would be the process. But unless their structure is big enough to support that large of opportunity, it's like handing somebody a winning lottery ticket and then losing it because you don't have an infrastructure to support that large of an opportunity. So the universe is so intelligent often in its design that it will do incremental, as you were just saying, Jason, steps. Sometimes it looks like you're going forward, but you're actually looping around with a new perspective until you get to that next opportunity. And my best clients that way are the teachable ones who show up. My clients that are the least successful, the ones who try to micromanage and control every aspect of an opportunity that comes in. And it's so funny because we've been doing this now for so long. I've got like data and statistics to show what saying yes and showing up and taking the next right action does versus the one who wants to sit by and wait, what does God say to the guy in the flood? He's like, God, you didn't rescue me. He's like, what are you talking about? I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a lifeboat. I offered you a roof of a barn. What were you waiting for?
Yeah. Right.
So with the Goldilocks effect, what you were talking about earlier about it, it's too hot, it's too cold.
Yeah, I love that
like
you call
waiting
that.
for the exact right situation or the exact right opportunity. So sometimes one is given the opportunity and then it's on you, to do your part then and to make it a good fit for you. And it doesn't have to be like a permanent fit. It can just be, again, just kind of one more like just step that you take, but it can show you, oh, well, this needs to, change, or maybe I'm better off if I do this, where you make adjustments along the way.
Exactly. And then, there's a respectful flip side to it where you aren't growing because you're only getting the same type and same size of opportunity. So at some point in that rhythm, you do have to end up saying no because you're looping what you've already had. You're recycling as opposed to incrementally moving forward. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like it's a fine nuance. And I have to hold the balance, the fulcrum with my clients, because a lot of my clients will think they're only in looping opportunities. And I'm like, no. The reason you haven't done it this way, or you haven't done it this way, because when you do get the large opportunities, you want to be, as I say, you want to be so neutral in the upcoming experience, because you've released from yourself all of those other limitations, expectations, that you are so pro within yourself that when the big opportunity there, it's just like you kind of walk, this just slides right. You slide into it, as opposed to it's this big crunchy,
Well, TED Talks.
Yeah.
Jackie just did a TED Talk. So
and I had booked,
it's a big opportunity, but then you're done with the big opportunity, and then you just go back to, you're back in the spiral.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but you don't stop, because there was no stopping once you get somewhere.
that's exactly it.
Keep on the creation process. Keep going.
And I had booked many TED Talks for clients before I got my own. Talk about operating, with humility.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Humility being one of those other values, Jason, that I really like.
Oh, totally. It's part of my mantra of clarity, humility, opportunity. CHO, I call it. That's just how I remember it. But when I'm reading, it's like if I'm feeling like, either anxious, or if I'm, just in a place where I need to center myself, right? It's like it's a reminder of why we do the work that we do, and then how to center yourself so that you're the best instrument for that work. And humility, it's like you don't do the work alone. When you are in an intuitive space, it's like you have help from the other side. You place yourself in this other person's energy that you're looking to help either soothe that their situations, their to help calm them so that they're able to make clear choices for themselves. And I feel that humility is like just a large part of not getting too far ahead of yourself. And again, where instead of like just your ascent being kind of in a nice way that you can again kind of know where it is that you're going, and as opposed to like the person who wins the lottery, right? Who it's like the person who just on their first day they say oh, I'm a tarot reader, right? And then they're booked on Oprah, right? It's like one can't like just handle that in a way where they don't just implode afterwards. So it's,
we know what that looks like.
Yeah,
we know what that looks like. We've seen it, being Hollywood people.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Here, we've all seen with that, with that 15, it's usually like 15 seconds of, it's like, it's not even a shooting star moment. It's like a burnout moment. It's like, if you want sustainability, if you're making an impact other than just self-gratification, so I think all of us here are advocates.
Validation.
Yeah.
Watch that one.
I think all of us here are advocates for serving the greater good, not just serving the self in it.
Absolutely.
And I think
absolutely.
that component, I think the universe always rewards that. Maybe not in our, in our desired timing, but
right. I got a reward yesterday.
Tell us, can you share?
I'll tell you guys. Yeah. Cause I didn't really recognize it at first, but I think it's funny because I'm traveling right now and I'm out in the country. And
looks like you're out in the country.
It does.
It does today, doesn't it? It's very much like that. I'm in actually. And I said that at the grocery store the other day, I was really wanting raw milk. And who
says that?
Where to be.
Get what you want.
I know. So it was really funny. I was having my nails done because, this is not a primary lockdown state. And so so it's an easy state. And I was having my nails done yesterday, and I didn't even know that there was a side door that connected with the store next door to this salon I was in. And somebody walked through the door and was delivering milk in this big, huge jar, this gallon jar, to this woman who was doing my nails. And I was like, and she said, "Oh, this is raw milk." I'm trying, right? And I said, "Oh my God, raw milk. I was looking for it, in the store." And it's from a dairy in the area. And, but I'm never, I was nowhere near a cow. I'm in a salon. And so she said, "Oh, I have another jar. Would you like to buy it?" For $5. I got my raw milk, but I came back with it. And, my friend was saying, "Oh, nothing like manifestation. You want to
nothing like
manifested
raw milk will get in a nail salon."
That's not my experience in a nail salon, for sure. Never getting raw milk.
But I think the recognition is so significant.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying too, Tara, about recognizing it though. Like
Yeah.
you have to really recognize it, because it's like, the universe has got a sense of humor.
Oh, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this is what I wished for. Oh, wait, here it is.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Comes to me. Yeah. Nowhere near a grocery store. Nowhere near a cow. Here we go.
And here you go. And you left with a pretty manicure and a jar of raw milk.
Right.
That is brilliant. Yeah, I think that in our lack mentality is what I call it. When we're in lack mentality, we don't see how we're always provided for with what we need, usually what we need at very least, and mostly what we desire. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have to attune to practicing to see, oh my God, I'm getting, everything I want.
Yeah.
And in a social media world of compare and despair, we end up comparing our insides to other people's projected outsides, which is really not a reality at all. So then it becomes more difficult if you're not in an awareness and gratitude to actually see all that you're receiving, because then you're projecting and comparing and despairing over what other people are projecting that they're actually receiving. So it becomes like a very...
Right.
You miss out on little moments like that, but that's like a God shot moment.
Wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, raw milk in the nail salon. Well, I know you're a powerful manifester, so.
Yeah, but I didn't expect that. It was a gift. I love the gifts in life. It's beautiful.
Yeah. One of my practices is that I try to find the unique attribute in any daily experience, especially when we become routine oriented. Everything can start to look the same. I know we've had a lot of disruption of routine this particular year, which is probably a really healthy thing. But I like to look for the unique thing that makes the day, it's like the one thing in a day that will not happen in another day. And it could be the type of hummingbird you see, or the type of rose, or, a call from a long lost friend. I love finding, and I just would journal, in my night journaling, I just will put the gratitude for the specialness of a daily texture that makes it different. Because way my mind works is I'll go to a to-do list, and then my gratification will want to be how many things I checked off a to-do list, but that's really no way of living. So instead, I look for the uniqueness or the miracle in a day that would not have occurred. It could be a conversation that I had with some stranger, that, brought through a plethora of validating information that I needed to hear. So I always like to find those really uniquenesses, or it could be, someone else's kindness, or, but I like looking for those, like you said, the raw milk in a salon. That is a miracle. It's a miracle moment. This isn't going to repeat itself. I mean, it could.
Yeah, well, I know.
It could. Need the golden honey raw milk next time.
There we go. Hey, I want everybody to give their website.
Oh,
Jackie,
thank you. Sure. Yeah, TV Guestpert is our company's website, and because we're in the stocking stuffer season, we've got lots of great authors and lots of great books. So check out all of our literary finds.
I want you to say your book again and put your book up later too.
Sure. Yeah. Heartfelt marketing, allowing the universe to be your business partner. It's one of my favorite stories. Thank you so much.
Do you have a link to your TED Talk from?
It's on TED. It's actually on TED.com. And if you plug in my name or Generation X, thank you so much for that, Jason. But yes, it's on the TED.com website. It's a TEDx talk, but it is on the TED.com website. It's called Generation X, Why We Deserve New Branding, or you can put in my name and it'll come up. And I'd love to hear what you think of it.
What's more generic than X?
Yeah. TVGuestpert.com.
TVGuestpert.com. Thank you so much.
Jason?
My website, Jason D. McKean, JasonDMCKAN.com. But also on Facebook, Jason D. McKean. Tonight I have a Soul Progressions experience. It's on Zoom. It's not like a class. It's one where there's a meditation that will take you back into the past and then forward into the future and then into higher self. And part of getting what you want is also doing what you want. Where if you want to have experiences, why not be the person that facilitates those experiences? So step into that. Do it.
Love it.
And I am TaraInsight.com, TaraInsight. And thank you guys for being on the show.
And you have that fun app. You've got that really clear. We can get all your stuff.
iHypnotherapy, right? There's about 60 titles that you can listen to every night, bump you up, or you can have private sessions with any of us. Yeah. Okay. Blessings, everybody.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Transformations with Tara.